Real concept of death. Maikaha says, there is no more death. But, how can there be no more death? We see it every day, apparently, people die every day. It seems difficult to understand, however, in reality, it is simple, like all truths. But to understand it, we must go to the foundation of everything, to the origin. To the origin of life formed by the chemistry of the earth and its simplest elements. Let's try to explain it better. We know that part of the life created on this planet was merged with DNA from beings of light. But pure life, that of the so-called natives, who do not have DNA from elevated beings, and whose DNA was only passed from parents to children, has remained pure, only growing and learning through evolution, through immaculately passed down memory, ensuring that the strongest cell prevails. This means that in this process, there is no reincarnation, as in the case of beings fused with DNA from angelic beings, where upon the death of the human temple, the DNA of the being of light remains standing and reincarnates as a human to continue progressing. Well, this is not the case for the natives. In the case of the pure natives of Gaia, who do not have elevated DNA, they have only been able to progress through the death of their parents, leaving their descendants to move forward, where the strongest cell continues to advance without stopping. Does this mean that for beings with DNA from beings of light or elevated beings, death has not existed? And the answer is that there has been no death for beings fused with elevated beings, in the real sense of the death of the being. They only leave their body in apparent death, but their being continues standing, incarnating in a new body thousands or millions of times. This does not happen with the native being, they do not reincarnate, they never have. When their body dies, they only pass on their DNA, the strongest, to their children. That's what we call real death, as stated by Maikaha, the great elevated being of Gaia. Beings of the first fall do not die, but they have experienced the same feeling as the natives when a loved one leaves, even though they do not die because they will reincarnate. We have all experienced the feeling of death because that's why we are here, to live all the lack of origin, learning together, fused and unfused beings, learning everything and preparing ourselves for the second stage when the time comes. As we can see, both beliefs in the existence of reincarnation and beliefs that there is no reincarnation are true. And we may wonder about beings of the second fall, what is their case? As we know, they also have DNA from beings of light and therefore also incarnate or have incarnated. The difference between them and the natives is that the natives have walked from the origin in the company of beings of the first fall and therefore, both have completed their bodies and have crossed the entire path of lack, so they are ready for the second stage of being through crystallization, something that is not possible in the case of beings of the second fall. They, with so few lives here, are not equipped for the crystallization of their bodies and therefore have another very important mission. These beautiful and brave beings will leave their bodies to join their being of light that gave them life here. They are here to teach us the great value of evolution that they lack and are prepared to assist Mother Earth at the great moment of childbirth. Well, why is there no more death? There has been no death for 3 generations, just as there are no more incarnations, said by Maikaha. There is no more death because the time has come. Both the natives and the beings of the first fall have completed their bodies, and with that, the first stage that constitutes the origin is about to end. The completeness of the bodies is what makes the death of the natives disappear. They, created genuinely from the elements of the earth, immaculately with the DNA of God, and for whose contemplation we are all here, have finally stopped dying. This totally original life, not fused with elevated DNA, had to die to pass its essence to its children. But it has completed this spiral of experience and with it, their bodies. And thanks to this, the sacrifice of death is eliminated, and all of reality takes a new course. In the evolutionary process of the natives, there was no incarnation. It has been an immaculate process in which, through the passage of royal blood or red blood, by inheritance, the being was completed, born only from the chemistry of the elements of the earth. This royal blood is what constitutes the famous Holy Grail, full of so much mystery, spoken of in some sacred books. This Holy Grail is truly a great treasure, the greatest treasure of human life, but it certainly belongs to all of us because we have all given it that enormous and respectable value, an immense and honorable value that we give to the universe. When we talk about royal blood or red blood, we allude to both native beings and beings fused with elevated ones, as both, or all of us, have enriched the memory we give to the universe. For all this type of death, the true death that has actually existed, stops happening, and the incarnation of beings of light also stops. Events no longer occur, as the elevated being of Gaia has made it known. This means that everything has taken a great turn for the life of this planet for 3 generations now, and other changes are happening gradually, like everything related to the climate and movements of the Earth, which must manifest as a necessity to help in the crystallization of its children, who are all life here, human, animal, and plant. This crystallization is becoming more and more evident through the more evolved beings, that is, from the first fall of angels, who are awakening more noticeably from the great event of the worldwide pandemic, that is, from the year 2020. Simply, this responds to the enormous changes or shakes that are being experienced in Gaia, causing bacteria to also awaken, and at the same time, this makes our bodies react, but not everyone is prepared to withstand these changes. These types of events will continue, since our loving mother needs to finish the process of crystallization in her children, which are us, and part of that process requires her movements, with which she releases substances that come from her interior and spread throughout the planet, thus helping the awakening of consciousness. Lava, for example, coming from her interior, releases wonderful substances that contribute to the work of our crystallization, and climatic changes, on the other hand, constitute the agitated breath of our Mother Earth, as if warning us of the first signs of childbirth, but at the same time, they also contribute to the process of our crystallization. Remember that the times of divine consciousness are very different from those conceived by us here on this planet, and that the evolutionary process in the origin of life has taken billions of Earth years. Therefore, it is not easy to deduce the moment of childbirth. However, Maikaha is preparing us, and when the time comes, he will notify us, although that moment, when we are closer, will be evident. Let's be attentive to each of his signs and not resist. Let's learn to see better that in this world of origin experimentation, a long for global peace cannot be achieved, not here. We will have it one day, but in the second stage, when we pass through this, which is the first. That's how the origin is. However, it is possible to experience individual inner peace here. Individual work is the goal of this moment, the contemporaneity of here and now. Our most precious duty for now is individual inner work until achieving the crystallization of our humanity, for which our Mother Gaia is working hard. But yes, we can help in this precious process. And how? Simply by being true. Being true to ourselves is the first step in the search for crystallization. We will talk about how to be truer to ourselves in other videos, how to help ourselves climb in this search for crystallization. For now, we invite you to like and subscribe if you liked this content. We would also love to receive your comments about what these ideas have provoked in you, whether they are new to you or any other reaction they have caused in your consciousness, or if you have any questions. And thank you for being here. We leave you the links to previous videos in the description for further complement and better understanding of this content.